So it's recording, but it's not live, right?
Right, correct.
Okay.
Live.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Sorry we're a bit late today. I just came screaming in from previewing a potential investment property. So that was exciting and fun and took just a smidge longer than I thought. So we're here and we are opening our offices up. We are separate but together these days. And people ask us questions all the time about what's happening in real estate. How is COVID affecting real estate and all the things. And we decided to just open our doors up and let you ask us live. So we've saved some of the questions you've been asking. And again, I'm Carrie Qualters, and we are the Bright Homes Atlanta team. This is Shane Yan, licensed agent, and Rhiannon Deems, who coordinates, what did I say?
Rhiannon.
Rhiannon.
Like, have I been pronouncing her name wrong all this time?
Okay, let me take a breath. I've known you for 3 years and I just said your name wrong. Okay. Rhiannon Deems, who coordinates all of our chaos. So, Rhiannon, what questions do you have lined up for us today?
Hold on, let me catch my breath. Oh man, my eyes are watering. Okay. We've got a lot, but I know we can't cover them all today, but we're going to cover as many as we can.
Okay.
So let's start with, how does it work if I want to buy a house? Oh no, wait. We did that one. Do that again.
Was that a last week question?
Oh my gosh.
It's worth answering again. Everybody is dying to know.
Okay. All right. Should I sell my home to Zillow or OfferPad?
Right. So you hear the commercials on the radio about OfferPad, or Open Door is another one that's advertising a lot in our area. And now Zillow's buying houses, show me a cash offer, right? And there are even some local brokerages and teams that have a guaranteed offer, right? That's all this is guaranteed cash offer. And these offers are from investors, and investors need to make money. So how do they make money? Is they make you an offer lower than market value, and then they turn it around and sell it for market value. So OfferPad, Open Door, Zillow, those are okay options, although we have better options for a cash offer. If you're in an incredible hurry, or if your house is in such terrible condition and you have no means to fix it up, these are good options for these people. And I would recommend you call us anyways and have us over to consult with you, because one, we have Keller offers and we can control that process more than if you go to Zillow or OfferPad. And we can advise you on whether that's the best move or whether we have another tool for you that would actually make you more money.
Good answer.
Do you want to elaborate on what Keller Offers is for anybody that might not know, since that's kind of a newer thing?
Sure. Keller Offers is a cash buyer program that Keller Williams owns. And it allows me and Shane, as your agent, to represent you in selling your home, but you still get that investor cash offer. We're just still around to manage the process and make sure it goes smoothly, make sure you understand what's going on, and make sure you don't get ripped off.
All right. Let's go with how is it buying and selling a house during COVID?
Question. Shane, why don't you talk about COVID showings? Because I know you and your family are very careful about virus protection protocols, and you've been showing a lot of houses. So how do you manage that?
Right. It's basically been the same since COVID started. First, when I'm with a client, we take separate cars. When we get to a property, everybody wears masks. We all carry hand sanitizer. These days, we're asking sellers, if the home isn't vacant, to leave all the cupboards open, all the closet doors open. So we really don't have to touch anything. Personally, what I like to do for my clients is I'm the hands person. So they literally don't touch anything, because I have to unlock the door. I'll open the door to let them in. If there happens to be a door closed, I'll open it for them. We keep our masks on. Sometimes there'll be booties provided or we'll take our shoes off. The sellers aren't home. So generally, we feel pretty safe. And I think sellers feel pretty good knowing people are wearing masks, using hand sanitizer, and being cautious as they come into the homes. So it hasn't dissuaded people from going to look at homes at all at this point now.
Yeah, I see everybody in real estate wearing masks.
Yes.
Even this investment property that I just got back from, we put a mask, it's empty, it's vacant. I still put a mask on to protect that next agent and buyer who come to look at it. Anything on the doorknob
Even in
or the
vacant
lockbox.
properties.
Yeah.
Yep, same vacant properties, we wear masks. If we're going to discuss the property, we'll still do it outside and keep masks on as about it, or stand way far apart and take them off if it's just been a long day. But outside, it's good policy to talk about the house outside anyway, in case there are listening devices in the home. So that's the policy I've always had, is talk about the house, the good, the bad, and the ugly outside.
Right. You don't want to hurt the seller's feelings, and you also don't want to give away your excitement if you're going to be dating an offer soon, right?
I always tell my clients, don't walk in and be like, oh, this is the one, I'll pay full price, let's go.
I will do anything to get this house.
Do anything. 20,000 over. Yeah, let's not say anything.
I have a question. Do you miss having buyers in the car with you?
I do like to be able to talk between houses, and especially that's a great opportunity to have those discussions.
I miss that too.
So I like that, and I get to know my buyers more, and just generally get more feedback on every house. But I don't have to keep my car as clean with 4 kids and 2 dogs and foster cats and dogs, and I
love that. It's so true.
Yeah, so it's a trade-off. I would prefer them to be in my car, though.
Yeah. You just gotta get that detail service.
Carrie, do you want to go over what that process is like for us on the listing side?
Yeah, on the listing side, we always ask our sellers to leave the home for showings, just because it makes buyers more comfortable. But even more so now, we don't need to have interactions, small groups. And we provide hand sanitizer, a box of plastic gloves if they want them, although they're not required. And then we do require masks, and we do have some Keller Williams masks that we leave at the door in case a buyer forgot them or wants to use them. That's fine too. Again, just like Shane said, leave doorknobs cracked, things like that. Then you don't have to worry about a bunch of buyers touching your doors. The more you can make things accessible when your house is for sale, the less people need to touch in order to see, what your house is made out of. So depending on your comfort level, we definitely schedule all of our showings so we know who's in and out. We haven't had to do any contact tracing of anybody getting sick or anything, but we know exactly. Come on, guys, we're almost there. We know exactly who's been in your house when. So if there ever was a situation, we'd be able to trace it and know, who's been where. Our lockboxes know exactly when they entered the home. So.
All right.
Hi, Stacey Kelly.
Hey, Stacey. All right. Why did you become a real estate agent? This is a fun one.
We're both second career realtors. So, Shane, what led you to real estate?
Well, I guess you want the 1-minute version and not the 20-minute version. I guess I have a law degree, used to practice law, and they always say you can do anything with a law degree. And I actually used to prosecute real estate appraisers. So I was always interested in the industry. And then like everybody else, I just started watching HGTV and House Hunters. I was like, that's so fun, looking at all those houses. I love working with people. And after taking time off with my kids, I wanted a flexible job. I wanted something where I wasn't in an office 9 to 5. I wasn't working 60 hours a week, working nights, preparing for trials, things like that. And I said, I'm going to combine something I love, love of houses. I've, bought and sold my own a lot. And I always thought I did a better job than my agent. I'm like, well, I can do that. It's easy to become a real estate agent.
Is it
And
easy though?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, compared
We
to
have
law
states
school,
that are not easy.
no, to get your license, it's easy to
Oh,
become,
yeah.
yeah, it's easy to become licensed. It doesn't take that long. It's not that
Easier than a
expensive.
law degree or an engineering license for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, why not give it a try? So
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Easy licensure was one of the reasons I got into real estate too. I was an engineer and was pretty miserable, just not passionate and inspired by what I was doing. And a life-threatening health event made me look at that closer. And I actually hired a coach. And the coach said, you need to be doing something that you get to be smart, creative, and fun. And I looked at my life and I was like, I'm not doing anything smart, creative, and fun right now in my professional life. So we made a list of jobs where you get to be smart, creative, and fun, and real estate was on the list, and it's inexpensive and easy to start. And so I tried it, and I had no idea how fun and challenging and interesting and different every day.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
all the things we get to do is really, really quite fun. So that's how I got here. If anybody has questions about real estate careers, we love to talk about it. So contact us separately for that. We can talk about it.
That's for sure. Very rewarding.
Yeah.
And no day is the same. Yep.
That's what I love about it.
All right. How about this? Can I back out of buying a house after I've signed a contract?
Yes and no.
Depends on the time period.
That's right. So the first handful of days, the number of days is negotiable. You can back out for any reason and get your earnest money back. After that, the only way to back out is if your loan gets turned down, right?
Otherwise, I mean, you can back out. No one can force you to buy a property, but you would lose your earnest money.
And potentially be responsible for the agent's commissions.
True. Yeah. You'd have some responsibilities, yeah, but they cannot force you to buy a house and move into it. But
that's right. I have seen situations, fortunately, I haven't had any personally with my clients, but I've seen situations where a client loses their job right at the 11th hour of closing and they just can't afford that house anymore. And so they have to back out of it. You know, or a spouse dies tragically. You know, there's things that unfortunately happen. And you're not on the hook to buy the house, but you may have financial repercussions for it for sure.
So there's actually another question that brought up because you both mentioned earnest money, and that is actually one of the questions somebody was asking, what is earnest money?
Awesome. Shane, you want to answer what earnest money is?
Okay. The layman's description is it's money that a buyer puts down to show that they are interested in this property, that they're willing to put money down to tell the seller that. It's a negotiable amount, but generally it's about 1%, right? Yeah, about 1% of the sales price. Either the attorney holds the money or in our case, we often have Keller Williams hold the money in a non-interest account until closing. And the money will be applied at closing. So it's kind of like, it's not really a down payment, but it's just, we call it you're showing that you have skin in the game. That way, if after the due diligence period that Carrie just mentioned, if that ends and you decide to leave because of whatever reason, you do not want to buy the house anymore, the seller would keep that money. So that's a way.
The seller actually signs that is the only recourse they'll take is accepting that earnest money.
Right.
So you know, in some cases where the seller is getting pretty harmed by that buyer backing out, they actually don't sign the termination in hopes of getting more, what's the legal term, lawyer? More,
more.
I would say typically just take the earnest money and go and sell the house again, right?
Most of them do that. They just
sellers don't want to go for more recourse. Recourse,
right?
Yeah.
That's the only recourse. Generally, that's the only recourse. Exactly, that's the word. But but it's money that will then be applied at closing. So the buyer, if they bought a house for 400,000 and they put down 4,000 in earnest money, when they come to closing, they only need 396,000, you know, basically. Obviously, we're not talking about all the other costs, but you do, sellers always, I mean, buyers always ask me that, am I going to get that money back? Yeah, it'll be applied towards.
Goes towards the bottom line at closing.
Yeah, yeah, but it shows the seller that you are interested, you do want this house. Yep. So.
In a multiple offer scenario, sometimes we up that earnest money to show we really want this house, right?
Yeah, it's a $400,000 house, but we'll put $10,000 on the line to show we really want this house. Yep. And you can even make it non-refundable in certain situations where you say, I'll make it non-refundable. That shows you that I have no intention of walking from this house, no matter.
It's going to have to be a really big reason for me to walk away from that $10,000.
Yep.
All right.
We have time for one more, I think. Just barely.
222.
Right. Let's go with, how long does it take to close once a contract has been signed?
Good question. So, not counting the house hunting, deciding where you want to be, setting your blender budget, all the things that happen, you know, as leading up to writing a contract. A lender can close a contract pretty easily within a few weeks. A seller is often going to want at least that to find where they're going to go and get out. You know, if it's vacant, maybe not, but we're seeing most closings be about 30 days, plus or minus, unless there's some extenuating circumstances. Most sellers don't want to see a really long, you know, closing in 90 days. They're usually wanting to get out and get their money quicker than that. So 30 days is pretty average.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. There's always exceptions.
Yeah. And there's always a seller who has no idea where they want to go. So they're like, hey, more time for us to find where we're going to go. That's great. So what we do when we're writing an offer is call the seller's agent and ask them, you know, what's the circumstances of your seller? What's important to them? Because we want to write an offer that's a win-win for everybody. You know, as long as our buyer gets what they want, you know, we can always look at both people's situations and figure out the best course.
And if a property is vacant, it makes the closing time easier or shorter.
Easier and more flexible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other thing is, you know, you can only lock in your interest rate for so long. And that varies from lender to lender and what time of year it is. And that changes quite frequently. But I know lenders can't lock interest rates in for a long time. So you might lose that great rate that was available when you went under contract if you have to wait too long till closing. Awesome. All right, guys, a little bit flunky today with my vowels and my technology and all of that, but hey, it's real us, right?
That's right.
All right, until next week, bring us your questions and we look forward to answering them live. Bye.
Bye. It still says recording.
Okay, so we're still on, but we're off of Facebook.
Yes, because I hit stop live stream.
What did you do that is putting the logo across faces?
For the whole thing?
The whole thing?
I can go in there and
The whole
probably
thing?
the thumbnail.
I see just our faces. I don't see.
I just see our faces.
Good. All right.
Maybe that's something on your screen. I just said scream instead of screen. It's like my mouth is literally not working.